What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today was an affront. That's all. The only way that I can really describe it as. It was fraudulent. It was an affront to the game and to the league of Serie A. But Serie A itself is proving to be a fraudulent system that Juventus is being victimized by once again. This is a rating show. We're gonna do the ratings after Juventus fell 1-0 at home to Inter Milano. Yeah, I'm calling them that because it's an embarrassing name, as embarrassing as the referees that were out there today. But we're going to do the ratings. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today, it's Sunday, April 3rd, 2022. And of course, I've got your ratings for all the players that played in the performance that was, and I use the word performance because it was a performance by everybody on the pitch, not just the players is what I'm saying. Juventus lose 1-0 to Inter Milano, dropping 3 points in an important match. Unfortunately, that really we could have talked about this season going a different way if they were to win it. Maybe try to dream, dare to dream of something else, but now it seems, unfortunately, that Juventus are a little bit stuck in the mud through the rest of the season as they really just try to make sure they get fourth place, continue on in the Champions League, and then we'll start over again here in August and see what Juventus can do, maybe with some better players there in the summer. Before we do anything, though, go ahead and smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. If you want to, follow me at Justin Sofro, and of course, on Twitter. And of course, follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Let's just kind of get into it. I want to talk a little bit, because these ratings, I'm going to be honest. I gave ratings to the players. I don't put a lot of the performance today specifically on the players. There's stuff that they can be criticized by, and there's definitely plenty of that to go around. But it was just such a farce what I saw here in the very first half of this match. There's no other word I can use this, and I do not like to be this guy. I do not like to be blaming on the referee guy, but at some point, officiating is so bad, and it's so egregious, and it's so one-sided that you have to call attention to it. I don't think any person who was unbiased in this and watching it, and when I say unbiased, it doesn't have to be Juventus versus Inter Milan. We also know how the other teams of Serie A and the fans of Serie A feel about Juventus. For some reason, Inter's the team that they like to look to and cheer for over Juventus being a historic, established program. But the calls today were unfathomable. Like, I watched that first half, and let's say this: Juventus as a team played phenomenal for at least the first 30 minutes of the game. And I understand Juventus, I have said in the past that they definitely play really well through the first 20 to 30-ish minutes of most games. But this was a team that was playing their hearts out. They were giving it all. They were trying to win this game, and they showed that they knew what this game was about. But they started taking the slings and the arrows from the referees. That's the only way I can say it, from Inter and then the referees. You cannot tell me that Lautaro Martinez goes out there and literally kicks my boy Manuel Locatelli in the face, directly in that schnoz, right in the nose. And I got a schnoz. I mean, I look like I've been kicked in it too, if you see right now. It's a whole other situation going on with me personally. But you see that happen, and nothing. Not even barely a wink. I'm pretty sure he also went over there. Well, maybe this was later in the match, but I'm pretty sure right after Manuel Locatelli got kicked by him, the referee goes over to him. And he pats him on the back and he makes him feel all right. Make sure he's okay. He's trying to make sure Lautaro is taken care of. Not Locatelli, not the guy who's been injured, not the guy who's just been assaulted on live TV in front of the entire world to see. No. Worried about this guy. Make sure he's all right. And then, of course, Martinez continues his assault on Juventus players as he does with Keolini. Maybe Keolini sold a little bit. We'll see. But he continued to do this. And nothing. Like, barely anything. Like, this guy should have been sent off within the first 30 minutes. And this is what you get. It's an absolute affront to the game. It's ridiculous. And I think something needs to be done about it. Obviously, given the situation that we've seen over the last, almost 20 years now? I guess 4 years, it'll be 20 years. But given Calciopoli and how long it went through it, we shouldn't be surprised by this, by Serie A. We shouldn't be surprised by the officials. We shouldn't be surprised by any of those involved. It's unfortunate. Obviously, you can put a little bit, or a good portion of blame on the players, because obviously Juventus need to do their job in scoring goals, and I'd say stopping Inter from scoring goals. But Wojciech Szczesny, who's going to be the first one we rate, did absolutely that. He stopped the guy. You saw how it played out. The refs were doing everything they could just to be like, let's retake that. Let's retake that. Give him as many opportunities as he needs to score this goal. We need to make sure this goal goes in, is what the referees were saying. It's an affront. It's an absolute it's a travesty to the sport, because there's no integrity. There's absolutely no integrity when it comes to the Italian game of calcio, and to me, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke, and it's embarrassing for Juventus to even have to play in this league. If it were up to me, just do the Super League as I thought it was originally going to be. Go join all the big teams, and everybody just go away. See you later. Inter, you stay here. Milan, do whatever you want to do. We're over here. We're going to play with the big boys because you guys aren't ready for it. Anyway, let's continue on, though. I'm going to dive into these ratings. I just need to get that off my chest. It was like, I don't like to be that guy. I don't like to be a referee guy, because the referees, they can play a big role. Let's not kid ourselves. But at the same time, if you're performing, if you're getting stuff done, obviously we've seen a lot of shots missed on goal today. And there's a lot of opportunities. Zakaria, Vlahovic, Morata, Di Bala, a lot of opportunities that were missed today by Juventus players. But it was just such an affront to give give Inter a goal when Inter had nothing. They were doing nothing today. They were not cooking. Inter was this was not a good team. Inter is not a good team. They have been sitting where they've been sitting, by the grace of the Lord Almighty, I guess. I don't know how they've been getting it, because recently they've been laying egg after egg after egg. The Salernitana is the only time that they go out there and score goals. Otherwise, they haven't played well at all. They come into Juventus, don't play well at all, but are gifted that one goal. It's just ridiculous. All right, let's get into the ratings. Let's do it. Like I said, I'm not gonna go. I'm being as harsh as I need to be, but I don't put a lot of this on the players today, and that's to be honest. There's a lot in the second half that did frustrate me, and I will voice those frustrations, but I'm not going to crush like I normally do. But my ratings are my ratings. So, okay, first up, let's do Wojciech Szczesny. He gets a 6 rating today for his performance, obviously. I would have given him higher if that would have stayed, and they wouldn't have gifted another, just a free goal, basically, to Inter from the, this is the ridiculousness. Anyway, let's continue on. I don't need to keep ranting. 1 punch, 2 high claims, 4 accurate long balls, 1 clearance as well today in his performance, and he had a really good save there that should have counted and should have stayed as it was. Danilo, we're going to get into the defense. Overall, the defense, I gave them pretty across-the-board ratings, a little bit lighter on Alexandro Danilo. Gets a 6 rating today for his performance. He had 1 clearance, 3 tackles, 3 ground duels, 1, 2 aerial duels, 1 key pass, 4 accurate long balls as well. He did lose possession 18 times, which is a bit high if you're playing in the defense, and that's something that I do notice. But anyway, I think I like today, especially kind of talking about the defense overall as a whole as one kind of group when I'm rating them, just because they did their job for the most part. Outside of the issues with the penalty and how that went down, the defense, though, when it came to it, kept them from scoring and did their job. De Ligt won. He gets a 6 rating for me today from his performance. He had 1 block shot, 1 tackle, 2 ground duels, 6 aerial duels, 1 accurate long ball as well. Obviously, there was that point where he should have probably gotten either a penalty or some kind of situation, what was going on there. And then at the end of the game, let's not kid ourselves, that one was not real, but he was doing everything he could to try to earn it, because at this point, if it was a little bit of a flop, but he's just testing the waters to see if they would call anything at that point. And we learned our lesson, and the answer is no, they will not call anything in Juventus' favor. Next up is Georgio Keolini. He gets a 6.5 rating from me today for his performance. I thought he had a really good game out there. I think he looks good. Obviously, the problem with Keolini, though, is his age, and obviously it seems more and more likely that this may be the end of his career at Juventus, and his career obviously with the national team as well. He gets a 6.5 rating. As long as he's good, it's just whenever he's not healthy, which unfortunately is more than not lately. It's not really useful, right? Anyway, he had 1 interception, 1 ground duel, 1, 3 aerial duels, 1. He had 2 key passes, 7 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, 1 that hit the woodwork, and 1 big chance missed. All right, let's continue on. And then Alexandro, who was a bit of the weak link when it comes to the defense, he gets a 5 rating today from me for his performance. A couple opportunities I saw there where he really, he pulled an Alexandro, right? Anyway, he had 2 interceptions, 1 tackle, 3 ground duels, one aerial duel, one key pass, 2 accurate long balls as well. Let's move it on. Like I said, I'm going to keep this going, and then we got to get to my guy, Manuel Locatelli, right? And that's what I'll sit on for a second and talk about because, yeah, it was an absolute farce what happened with Manuel Locatelli getting kicked in the face. I don't know how you don't immediately red card somebody when they kick somebody in the freaking face. I don't know how that happens. Out of all the stuff that happens and it gets called in Juventus and the cards that start flying for Juve players, how does that happen to Manuel Locatelli that he gets that? It's ridiculous. I'm gonna keep ranting on Lautaro Martinez and his this child that's out there who has no right to be on the same pitch as Locatelli, let alone doing something like that and getting away with it. It's ridiculous. But Manuel Locatelli, unfortunately, he suffered an injury. It looks like it'll keep him out for 20 days. I don't have the exact title for what that was. It was something, I don't know if it was a ligament tear. Let me see if I can pull up the old handy-dandy thumbnail or phone book, the old phone, and see if I can see anything. I don't have it right in front of me, but as it stands right now, I know that he should probably be out for 20 days, which, of course, here we are once again, as Juventus fans, sitting with the injury bug, and as it continues to plague the team. And, of course, the one guy, and I want to give this guy credit. We're getting to him. The one guy who has not done it is, of course, our next guy who never gets injured. And I got to give him credit, though, today. Usually I crush him. Today I'm giving him credit. But Manuel Locatelli, 6 rating today. He only played 34 minutes, but he only had 14 touches. He had 1 accurate long ball. He had 1 shot off target, 1 ground duel, 1 as well. But he was actually had, until he got pulled because of his injury, a pretty good game. Speaking of good games, probably maybe one of the best players out there today was Adrian Rabia, which is a shocker for me to say, right? Does it not seem like a shocking turn of events? You wouldn't have expected it normally, but he gets a 6.5 rating today for me from his performance, or from me for his performance today overall for Juventus. He had, 2 key passes, 4 out of 4 accurate long balls, 3 out of 3 successful dribbles, 4 ground duels, 2 clearances, 1 block shot, and 1 tackle as well. I think the best way, Alejandro kind of said it earlier today in our instant reaction, was basically just saying that Adrian Rabiot, what he put together today for Juventus was the Adrian Rabiot that guys saw and that they wanted from PSG. This is the kind of the performance from Adrian Rabiot that I kind of expect to see every year at the end of the season, right? It's the performances that you've seen over the last 2 years where he starts to put it together and start to be a not a liability. He starts to be an actual good team player, moving the ball around, actually breakaway speed, stuff like that you saw. And I saw it today. Problem is he going to do it the rest of the season? I don't know. So we'll see how it continues. I hope it does. But unfortunately, it's like, I know what I've said. He does it at the end of the season, the last 2 seasons, but it's getting a bit late. Usually it starts in February, early March, not first week of April. We'll see if it can continue. It's just unfortunate. I need to see some kind of regularity with him, though I don't know if that'll be enough for anybody to change their minds when it comes to saying about the retention of Rabiot at Juventus following the summer. All right, speaking of a guy who I'm usually high on, this is the anti-Rabiot, if you will, but the guy I'm usually high on, but I kind of have to crush today, and it's unfortunate, but he was one of the few players that I thought was pretty bad, and that was Juan EC, my guy Juan Cuadrado. He gets a 4.5 rating today for his performance. I got to be a bit harsh today because there are a lot of things that he just was lost. When I'm saying lost, continuing the passing patterns, like situational awareness. I'm going to crush another guy for that as well. When it comes to situational awareness, not knowing where the ball is, how the ball is moving, where your next target should be, where the other guys are on the pitch, where Vlahovic is, where Morata is, where guys are to help create Di Bala as well. He just wasn't there. Every single time the ball came to him, it would slip through his legs, I guess is the way to say it. I'm used to saying like football terms, like losing it through your fingers, but he would just let it slip right past him, and it would end up getting taken away from by an Inter player, or he'd make a bad pass. It was not Juan EC's game, and it's another thing where I've said And Arriva Bene is out there making smart decisions, especially when it comes to the retention of players, renewing players, not kicking guys out, but saying, I'm sorry, we got to end it here. And that's why I wonder if this is a situation where maybe Arriva Bene is going to say, let's hold up. Let's hold our horses here. Let's see what we're going to do. Because right now, Juan Cuadrado is not living up to a price tag of another 2-year commitment. As it stands, obviously he's not making a ton of money, but at the same time, you can't throw away any kind of money if you're Juventus right now. And I think it'd behoove him right now to sit back, watch how this develops, and to see, is this Cuadrado's decline? Because it's starting to feel that way, unfortunately. And I love me some Wani C. Usually whenever he's clicking, but if you're not delivering corners and you're not delivering crosses properly to your guys in the box, what are you doing? That's what I expect out of Juan Cuadrado. Those are the two things I need. He had 2 key passes, 2 accurate long balls, 1 shot on target, 1 shot blocked, 2 successful dribble attempts, 6 ground duels, 1. Let's see, and 1 interception and 2 tackles as well today. And he was, like I said, he was lost. Had some stats there, but obviously to me, it was just the eyeball test, and he did not pass the eyeball test. So he gets a 4.5 rating. And unfortunately, while Rabiot may be my most valuable player, I think Cuadrado probably got my least valuable player today. But again, like I said, I'm not crushing these guys hard, even though 4.5 is it's probably pretty tough, but at the same time, there's so many other factors in this game, the reason it played out the way it did, and it's really unfortunate. All right, next up we got Paolo Di Bala, and I want to talk about him. He gets a 5.5 rating today. He had a really good performance, I think, in the first half. I think he was firing off, on all cylinders in the first half. I thought he was doing well. Problem is that second half came, and I think he was already in Madrid or Barcelona or wherever he plans to sign with next. Maybe he was playing for Inter at that point. Maybe they threw that contract out there, and he said, "Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it." He probably should have had the snakeskin blue, I guess, on at that point. I'm kidding. I'm not being serious, but at the same time, he was not good in the second half. Let's not kid ourselves there. Overall, his performance, I got to give him a 5.5 just because he had some good stuff in the first half. Problem is in the second half, you can take some shots that are on target from deep, but that doesn't make them good shots, right? Like, he was on target with a couple of them from deep, but the problem is when you shoot them that far out, the goalkeeper's right. He's got so much time to adjust and to move to catch the ball. To collect it and easily, without breaking a sweat, Handanovic was able to do it. And I don't think Handanovic is that great of a goalkeeper. But he was able to easily collect those balls, and it's kind of a wasted possession in those moments, and that's really where my issues with Dybala's performance in the second half come from. Let's see. He had 2 key passes, 2 accurate crosses, 5 out of 5 for accurate long balls, 2 shots on target, 3 shots off target, 1 shot blocked, 1 successful dribble attempt, 6 ground duels, 1 lost possession 26 times, which is quite a bit, and 2 tackles as well. Again, my biggest frustration when it comes to the attack is, like, they did not know what they were doing. Like, that's one of the things where I'll get to, and when I get to the coaching, my history, my background is I am not a soccer player here, right? I'm a fan. So I don't know exactly the details when it comes to shot development. When I say that, what I mean is, like, who's working on the way they're taking shots? Who's working on that? Is there a coach that's actually helping them with Juventus? I'd imagine so. If not, that'd be surprising for me. I know, like, my experience is in, like, basketball here. Basketball, American football, whatever. In basketball, there's a guy who's teaching these players how to take shots, how to adjust, this. Is it differently for your legs? I don't know. But at the same time, when it comes to these guys and their shot selection and the way that they're taking these shots, somebody's got to teach them how to get it properly on target and how to actually work on their aiming or whatever is going on there. It was frustrating to see today. And that goes for everybody, not just Dybala. Speaking about goes for everybody, we can talk about Alvaro Morata today and his performance. He gets a 5 rating today. Wasn't great. I've seen some critical scores of him. I didn't think he was terrible, but I don't think he was good, right? It was just more like in the middle, kind of sitting where I think a lot of the team sat, especially given that first half of the way the air got sucked out of the tires, right? Anyway, he had a 1 key pass, 2 shots off target, 2 shots blocked, 1 successful dribble attempt, 1 big chance miss, 5 ground duels, 2 aerial duels, 1 and 2 tackles and one penalty that he committed as well. And that's where it all sits, right? After that penalty, that's really where it all crumbled for Juventus, and we sat where we are. I don't have a lot to really say about Morata and his performance, to be honest. I really want to move it on to the next guy, and that is talk about Dusan Vlahovic, who I also gave a 5 rating today for his performance. I've been pretty clear and pretty open about basically, I was pretty tough on Cristiano Ronaldo when he played for Juventus because of the player he's supposed to be, the player that his value is, how much money he makes, his aura, if you will, as a player. Well, introduced Dusan Vlahovic, who at the beginning, he was firing on all cylinders at the beginning of his tenure at Juventus. Now we've gotten into April, and I do want to give him credit. In the first 30 minutes or so, when everybody seemed like they were clicking for Juventus, he was doing so as well. He looked like he understood the assignment. When I say that, what I mean is he understood how important this match was. He was trying to score. He was trying to make things happen. But after that, after the crushing, the goal that was gifted, wrapped properly, whatever, packaged up for Inter and just delivered to them by the referees. After that, I saw it slack off a little bit. I brought up the situational awareness issue. He was also another player that wasn't aware how the ball was moving, where the other guys were going, and trying to make good passes and good attempts on goal as well. He struggled to do that. I expect more from him because he's supposed to be potentially the next generational talent. You put him right there in that group with Haaland and whoever have you. He's supposed to be that good of a player, and and I understand it's not all his fault. Obviously, we have issues with the midfield. Obviously, we have issues with some of the things that are going on outside of Juventus' control today, but still expect a little bit more from him. He gets a 5 today in today's performance. He had 1 shot on target, 4 shots off target, 2 shots blocked, 1 successful dribble attempt, 3 key passes, 1 accurate cross, 1 big chance created, 2 ground duels, 1 aerial duel, 1, and he was offsides twice. So there we go. Let's continue on, though. We got 2 more people to talk about. Zakaria, I thought he was actually looked pretty good when he came in. Zakaria gets a 6 rating for me. He came on following the injury and the issues with Locatelli. Zakaria came on and right away looked like what I expected from Zakaria, which is good. Which is really good. Obviously, the one thing that really sticks out is the shot he took on goal, which he should have had that. And that's another thing. It's like, who's working on these shots? Like, who's working on it? Because he had such a good opportunity. He drove down the field on his own, made this thing happen, made this shot happen, and then unfortunately, it was just too far left. Hit the post. Ricochets off. We're sitting here looking sad once again. So it is what it is. But overall, Zakaria, I thought he gave a good performance today for Juventus. Obviously, there's some other guys that came in. My rule is kind of if they come in before the 70th minute, I give them ratings. If they play after the 70th minute, there's not a lot to really talk about unless they do something groundbreaking or shattering when it comes to scoring or whatever have you. Let's see. Today he had 1 shot on target. He had 1 that hit the woodwork, 4 ground duels, 1 and 2 tackles as well. All right. Let's get into him. All right. It's Max Allegri, and we got to talk about him today. As the coach, I don't know exactly where to go with this, to be honest. I don't want to crush him, again, like I said with the rest of the team. But again, I want to know who's working on these shots, who's working on the players' shots, who's working on their shooting ability, who's working on their aim, who's working on, and I understand it's a bit different. It's a bit different with your hands where you're way more control than your foot, right? At the same time, who's working on some of these shots, who's helping with the shot selection, who's helping, who's doing this? Is there anybody working on it? Or is it kind of like you get the player where you get them, you do all the other things when it comes to just tactics, all around tactics, figuring that part of the game out, right? I'd like to know that because that's where I have a bit of frustration. Obviously, the injuries still plagued him, missing Chiesa, Weston McKennie, Leonardo Bonucci, all these players. The defense played fine, but again, it was not the team's overall fault that they lost this game. Yeah, some guys can finish on some of these goals that they should have had, but at the same time, the referees were horrendous. The referees gifted a goal, a penalty, double the same penalty for Inter. And then Juve also had 3 opportunities, 3 blown calls. Zakaria, I should have brought that up when I just talked about Zakaria, about the he was still inside the box at the point. I wasn't sure at first, but Alejandro and then people showed me the replay, and I was able to see, yeah, he was still in there. That should have been a pen. There were multiple opportunities that they should have had a pen, and they should have gotten a pen, and they didn't. 3 of them. And I don't know, and I don't know exactly how this, I want to understand a little bit more how working the referees is. And when I bring this up, this is not a criticism of Allegri. In other sports, I go back to basketball because that's the bread and butter here where I am, right? I'm a huge fan of soccer, but I'm less in tune with European football and the way things work there. Does that make sense? I watch it, but again, I'm not speaking the language. I'm not well, and I'm not understanding everything that's going on. So when guys get in the referee's face and they start yelling at him, does that do anything? Or is it like, because in basketball, you can work a ref. You can work a guy. You can be riding his ass. You can go up and down. He may tee you up. He may kick you out of a game, but he'll remember who you are. Can you do that in this game? Can you do that in Serie A? Or is it just more of a set your bleep down, or you're going to have bigger problems if you come at him and be like, what is that? Try to get a call. Try to get some work there. I don't know. That's something I kind of wonder. And that's just my own personal question here right now. It's not really a critique of Max Allegri. But again, it was just more of the same when it came to 30 good minutes and then a drop off. And that's what you have. And you're seeing a lot this year with the team. I would like to see him maybe try to figure out what's going on with Juan Cuadrado, try to fix that. Alexandro, he's stuck with until the end of the season, until they get a good left back, or at least until Luca Pellegrini's back and healthy again. I mean, or I guess he wasn't unhealthy. He's suspended. He was suspended for this match. And then I'm looking through what he has to work with. Alvaro Morata's fine. Di Bala, I almost wondered. And Di Bala is useful, right? But he's. I mean, I valued him as a talented player. As long as he's healthy and playing. I also wonder, how important it is to use him right now. Should they still be using Di Bala, or should they maybe sit him and try to work out another system, work in some other guys, maybe some youth, maybe Sule, maybe obviously in the midfield using Manetti, guys like this, instead of giving guys that we know are not going to be here for a long period of time. Some of the substitutions didn't fully make sense to me. That's the one criticism I could have of Max Allegri. Basically, when he ended up pulling Morata at that point, like I said, I know Morata wasn't great, but at the same time, what do you get for pulling Morata and then bringing in Moise Kean, right? No offense, I love you, Moise Kean. You're not doing it. It's not. You're done. You're done, son. It's not working out here. I don't think it's going to work out long term. But Bernardeschi, maybe see if he could happen anything with Cuadrado. I maybe would have pulled Cuadrado earlier, seeing how poorly he was playing. And then, of course, as much as I like this player, Rabiot was actually having a good game. And then you pull him for Archer, who just, if you want to slam the brakes on a game and not really have a lot of opportunities outside of the 1 or 2 times that he's really shown it, I don't know. So anyway, that's where we sit right now with it. A lot of thoughts, obviously, to go through. We'll have lots of coverage throughout the week where your boy Julian and myself will talk about it. We'll have some other guests on from our members, Davide, people like that. We'll be talking about the match that was, I'm sure, as well as what do we look at going forward? Where do we sit right now with the squad? What can we do? What do we have to really look forward to really get through the summer and get some of these new players in and hopefully retake the Scudetto next season? We will see. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with the ratings that I gave today, as well as do you agree or disagree with the criticisms when it comes to the refereeing, or do you think it's on the team and they should have scored and it's their fault, not whatever happened there? From I usually would say zebras, but we are the zebras in this circumstance. Other sports, the referees were black and white, but from those who are blowing the whistle, at least we'll say that. So let me know in the comment section down below. As always, thank you for tuning in to our videos that we do. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't already, consider maybe joining the member squad. Our member squad, you get a lot of benefits there. You get to jump in with some videos. You get to do stuff like that. You get to have access to the Discord, which allows you constant communication and connection with a Juventus community, fans who think I won't say like-minded, but fans that care about the same team, and we can have a continuing conversation there, and that always also allows you access to jump on to video calls with us as well. Let me know that, or not let me know that, consider joining that, but if you haven't also, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. If you haven't already, make sure you follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course follow me at Justin Sofro on Twitter as well. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully we've got something better to talk about when Cagliari rolls along next weekend, and 3 more points from them. So we'll see you next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.